If you're looking to launch an Amazon FBA product without all the nonsense, Facebook ads and ManyChat rebates, you've come to the right place. In this video, I break down my no holds barred, all access, step-by-step approach for how my most recent launch went from $0 and 0 reviews to $35,000 in 30 days or 1 month. I break down every single strategy that was used, every data point, everything you need to know to launch like a 7 and 8 figure Amazon seller. Let's do this. I've built and led multiple 7-figure Amazon brands. Now I'm setting out to share how I did it with radically transparent and detailed weekly videos. Join the journey with me and break free. Welcome to Heist. Welcome to Heist, everybody. My name is Adam. This is the YouTube channel that is everything Amazon FBA. More importantly than that, it's all free, super deep dive, super high level content that most people pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get. In the video today, like my other launch videos, I'm going to dive into the brand that I launched in late December of last year. This is the fourth product or fourth ASIN from that brand. And we're going to go through the last 30 days. This last 30 days literally just wrapped up a couple days ago. And we're going to dive into the step-by-step, detail-by-detail, tactic-by-tactic approach that led this launch going from $0 to $35,000 in 30 days. Before I get into that, I wanted to say a brief thank you to everybody that's part of the Heist community. I'm going to do a video later this week thanking you all for helping me get to 1,000 subs, which is a really cool thing. More importantly than that, lots of people are chiming in on the comments, liking the videos. I think this is all really critical for us to grow this community and for me to deliver content like this on a regular basis. It really keeps me motivated. So thank you for that. It really means a lot from the bottom of my heart for you guys to be here and coming along for the journey. And I hope that you've got some value out of it too. So let's dive in. As we always do, the proof is in the pudding, and we're going to show all the data and stats, really everything but the brand name as part of this launch case study. So this is the data straight from Amazon, looking at the period from, I think it was July 16th to August 14th, I think was the spread of that 30 days. Shows the sessions that we had, shows that our unit session percentage or our conversion rate was 17.8%, in line with other products that are part of this brand. And here we go, order product sales, 846 sales, $35,111.06. So pretty awesome, pretty happy about it. We'll dive in exactly how we delivered these results here. So first, starting with product, again, you guys know that I'm a fan of having really, really clean, targeted, oriented customer audiences and brands that meet those customers with offerings, with aesthetics, with messaging that makes sense. This product is no different. Very similar to the first and second ASINs that I launched. There's a third ASIN that was a bit of an accessory, so I don't know if I even really call that a launch. It's going to be a product that does maybe $2-3 grand a month. But the other two, it certainly aligns very well with those customers that are seeking those other products that are part of the brand. It's a sports and outdoors product. Despite the fact that it was labeled as a damn toy and on the sidelines for 6 weeks, I'll get into some of the trials and tribulations later, but it is a sports and outdoors product. It's a passion niche. It's something that people care about. It's something that people spend their hard-earned disposable income for. So there's less price sensitivity. There's more of an appreciation for aesthetics, for brand, for offerings that make sense for those customers. So I think that's really important with the theory of what I look to build with brands and what made this product, I think, special and unique. Very similar audience. So what's really cool as you start to snowball launches and do your second, third, fourth, fifth, and beyond launch is you start to build up this embedded audience. It could be people that have given you their email on your site. Could have been people that you've pixeled from your website that you can retarget with ads. Could be people that have engaged from your review inserts. Whole host of different channels that you can access your customers and then retarget them or reach out with launch offers as you roll out new products. And it becomes a really massive weapon and massive asset when you're building and snowballing a brand. So we'll get into some of the audience tactics used here. And then finally, which is important, the overall product category here for this particular niche is pretty big, right? So it goes well beyond the scope of what this brand is. The goal with this particular offering, though, is to target a splice of that broader market. So oftentimes you can niche down or look at some longer tail keywords or some more specific customer archetypes that are tapping into a larger market size. You can isolate those with your listing, your offering, your photography, and really get high conversion rates and take a decent chunk of larger markets. And that's exactly what this is. So if you look at the market, this is just a screen share. Again, I would never recommend going after this. It would take an awful big budget to tackle a market where the top players are doing 335 grand per month or 3 million a year from a single ASIN. You can absolutely do it. People do it every day, but you need a pretty big arsenal to be able to attack that, pretty big risk tolerance. I like to hone in on products that are levels down from that. They're a lot easier to access, a lot easier to take out, and are able to scale your financials a lot cleaner with lower risk. So it wasn't this whole 335K market. I was looking at a splice of it. So some of the goals, which I think is important coming into a launch, is to define what success looks like before you've even launched. What are the metrics? What are the qualitative and quantitative things that you want to achieve? Map those all out and align your playbook and your launch strategy with achieving each one of those. And also be ready for things to go wrong. As I'd kind of mentioned, for 6 weeks, this product was classified as a toy, which I wasn't authorized to sell. Took multiple calls, lots of logistical headaches for additional inventory that was starting to come into the US. 5+ hours on with Seller Central to get it appropriately categorized in sports so I could actually sell it. There was stockouts. There was review challenges for a couple days. There's all kinds of things that happen. So be ready for your playbook, which is critically important, to also need to be adjusted as you go. But coming into this, I anticipate that this product can do between $25,000 and $70,000 a month. Similar products that are niching down and targeting the customer archetype that I'm going after with, I think, less well thought out keyword strategies, less thought out brand identity, and all those other things that I care about, are doing around $50,000. There's some that are doing a little bit more than that, some that are doing a little bit less. So my minimum barrier is like, hey, even if I have a moderate amount of success, I think I can pull down around $20,000, $25,000 a month. But ideally, if I hit my stride in months 3, 4, 5, etc. and beyond, I think this is a $70,000 a month product or $700,000 a year. I've got a target price of this of $49. My initial entry at launch was $34.99. We'll get into how I use that price point at launch as part of the strategy later on, but my end game for this is to be around $50. So between 510 and 1,500 units a month is about the market size I'm looking to pull on a monthly basis for this product. Also want to become the top 2 in the sub niche. Again, there's 3 or 4 that are in the sub niche that are doing well. I want to kind of be oriented right in the pack with those guys in the top 1 or 2 come months 3 and 4. I want to have the best photography and the best keywords of any listing that's targeting these customers. You got to know where you're good, where your strengths are. You got to know where your blind spots are. I know that I can kick the crap out of my competitors with photography, with brand, and I know that they've left some gaps in the keyword marketplace that I can infiltrate and use to my advantage. I put a link up above on how I do keyword research. It's a core part of my strategy. I think it's critically important if you want to succeed on Amazon to have a deep understanding of what a keyword strategy and keyword process looks like. And that was absolutely deployed as part of this approach coming into it. And then finally, some subtle differentiation. I wanted to do some things with the listing image and a bundled offer that will give customers a reason to click on my listing. Again, you've got to have a why. Why would your customer want your product? Why would they want your offer in addition to all the others that are out there? Why would they click on it and why would they buy it? So some subtle differentiation. I oriented with both the imagery, which was just a slightly different angle, a little bit more pro than what others were doing to instigate that click. Then once they click, have really cool photography, really cool bullets, have a brand vibe that makes customers go, you know what, I'm going to buy this thing. And so both of those little subtle differentiators were a key part of the strategy coming in. So let's dive into the strategy. And it's really a 4-point strategy that was used on this. As I've alluded to in my other videos, I've gone away significantly from any Facebook ads to ManyChat rebates, just having a really difficult time getting them to scale. So I'm going clean with a whole new approach. And I think this playbook here, while it might iterate a little bit, is really going to be the Amazon success playbook for launches in 2021 and beyond. So pay attention. If you haven't used these strategies, listen, take notes, Think about how your brand or upcoming product launch could orient around these strategies and implement them into your own brand and business because they work. And I'm going to show how. First, super friendlies. I've talked about this in previous videos, but there's really two different ways that I like to attract super friendlies. Super friendlies are people that you can basically engage in a real conversation, whether it's Facebook Messenger, text message, you can call them, or even interact via email. But you can have a real dialogue. They know who you are. You can approach them in a one-to-one relationship type way like you would a conversation with a friend or family member. So the first way that we do this is reaching out to existing customers. So you may have had customers that have sent you an email saying how much they love your product. They might have responded to a review insert and hit you up on your ManyChat Messenger. In some form or fashion, you may know of an enthusiast or fleet of enthusiast customers within your brand that you can reach out to, have a discussion with, and introduce them to the new launch that you're doing and offer them a discount or a rebate if they're interested in helping you out. The second approach is using friends of friends. So these aren't family members. They're not coworkers. They're not roommates or somebody that you live with. These are more friends of friends. So you may know your mom's friend or a good buddy's friend or your wife or girlfriend's friend, somebody that you know might be interested in this product or brand that you're launching, and get access to them. Let them know that, hey, I've got this new launch coming up for my Amazon business. I've heard you're interested in this kind of product, or I think that you would be interested in it. Would you be interested for a deeply discounted or potentially even free product to help us out with this launch? That's kind of how it's framed. It's pretty simple. The second thing that's done is offering either a discount product or free product, frankly, for feedback. It's critical here that you don't say review, but really just feedback. You want them to give you some insights into how shoppers may think about your product or offering that you can then use to not only fuel your launch and indexing of keywords, but also help you tweak images, tweak your messaging, and identify blind spots that because you've been so close to your launch and listing that you may not see yourself. You also want to get real feedback on how they perceive other offerings in the marketplace. What do they think your competitors? What do your competitors do that's better than you? What do they do that you think you can exploit upon? But getting real customer feedback that you can have a tangible conversation with, almost like a focus group, is critically important. An optional approach, which again, it's against Amazon terms of service to incent for reviews. You can give people discounts. You can even give them 100% free product for rebates. But what you can't do is take those customers and then ask them for a review explicitly. It's a no-no as far as Amazon's concerned. There's ways for them to track it, and it can lead to big trouble for both your listing and your account. You can, if you've got the risk appetite, breach the topic with these friendlies of giving a review, but just know that there's risk if you do it. The cool thing is because these people know what your intentions are, they might like your brand, they might like supporting what you're doing for your launch, you don't even need to ask them for a review and they may leave it. A couple things to keep in mind because of the back-end data that I've looked at doing my search on what Amazon data tracks on you, and I've got a video on that. They're going to know if it's somebody that uses the same computer, the same phone, the same IP address. So this is why you really don't want to use coworkers, friends, things like that, because there's ways for Amazon to link the two together, and it can lead to trouble for your account. So here's my list of the super friendlies. I kind of had two different groups. One was what I would call friends of friends. So I know people that may be interested in this particular product. I literally just went into Google Sheets. I listed them all out. I didn't even end up contacting all of them. I just wanted to have kind of a brain dump of who I thought could be interested. And from this, we used 5. And there's all the different dates that were used. I got kind of a rebate tracker on when I've sent rebates or discounts to them. But there's 4 here, and then there's previous customers as well. So folks that have entered our flows and been engaging, that have reached out with feedback for us on other products or on the brand as a whole. We keep a running list of this, and then when we come to do launches, we'll reach out to those handful of customers explicitly. The key thing here was it wasn't a huge expense, right? So $385 in product costs, and I'll get into that later in the video on what the economics are for this product. But a lot of people think, oh, I need to have a audience or list of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Not the case. In this case, I did, 5 here, 6, and I think there's like maybe another 4 or 5 here. So not a ton of rebates, didn't take a massive amount of work. It requires elbow grease, so be willing to go out and hustle for these initial super friendlies, but it's not hard. You can do it. It doesn't need massive quantities. Some of the things that we do with super friendlies. So first of all, again, knowing how Amazon can look at the data on the back end and attribute benefit to your listing, there's some things that you can do to reenact normal buying behavior that will really help your launch. So that's one thing that we do. The second thing that we want to do, again, is really like a focus group, get feedback on what your product is. And so in order to get the discount or rebate, one thing that we like to do is send these super friendlies a list of things that we want them to help us out with. So what we do is we start by saying, search for this product like you would as an Amazon shopper. I'm not going to tell you what the keyword is. You know, as a potential customer in this market, how you might search for it. First step is go type it in and search how you would. After that, we want them, based on that search that they enacted, to give them feedback on at least 2 competitive listings. So we want them to click on the photos. We want them to evaluate the offer and really answer the question of why would you buy this or why would you not? And so give them a checklist, tell them to send back feedback using those criteria on 2 of the competitive listings. The next step is to actually have them type in a keyword that you want, that you think is relevant, that you think is critical for not only ranking, but for also the category of product that you're listing for. And so you want to kind of feed them that word, have them go type that word into Amazon, and then find other products again in the listing and kind of similar feedback. Why would you buy them? Why would you not? And give them that additional feedback. The final step is for them to actually find and look at your listing. And you can do this by giving them a photo of what the listing image looks like, and then ask them for what is one thing on this listing that you didn't like and that you recommend that we change. I've had really cool ideas that have helped me change my listing images. I've found spelling errors. You get a massive amount of value by having even just 10 other people look at your listing and give you their feedback from a shopper's perspective. You've been super close to this listing maybe for months. You've got blind spots. You may not fully understand what customers are looking for. This step helps you uncover and unlock those elements that can help drastically improve your click-through rate, your conversion rate, and the success of your launch when you start to dump traffic at it. The second thing is similar to the competitive assessment, is to ask them what their favorite and least favorite image is. Again, this is really cool to help you hone in on how you may want to position images, how you may want to tweak them, how you may want to present your listing in the optimal way for customers. So this super friendly stage helps you not only index and rank for critical keywords that you want to target, it reenacts normal buying behavior, number 2, but it also gives you and unlocks for you feedback on the product that will be critical for the short success during launch as well as the long-term success of the product itself. The second element, again, when you've got multiple products and as your brands age and get older, you get access to existing customers. And so there is a 4-pronged approach that we use with this launch, using emails, using messenger broadcasts, using text messages, and then retargeting customers that have visited our Shopify site off of Amazon with Facebook ads. Key thing here is, a lot of people think you need this massive 10,000 person list to have an impact at launch. There is literally a very, very small amount of audience that we have, and we'll get into all the numbers on emails, texts that we sent, things like that. This is not a massive brand from an audience standpoint yet. We haven't really put a whole lot of energy or attention on it. We've been focused exclusively on Amazon and getting all of the elements of that right this first 6 to 8 months of launch for this brand. But that doesn't matter. There's still value even in small number audiences that you can tap into at launch. So the first one is email. And a strategy that we used on our own Shopify page, because we have customers coming there from review inserts, we have them coming there for customer service. Some of these products are technical and require some help or setup or installation. So we have all those guides that include content on our site. So we get, between 1,000 and 2,000 visitors, real customers from Amazon, especially, to our site every single month. Just the lead into this launch, I want to say a couple of weeks before the launch, we started to add a open box to start to pull emails out. And one of the brands I really like, it's actually a local Utah brand called Taft. They make really cool men's footwear. They had this really cool pop-up that when you go to hit the back button or you go to hit the X button, when folks are looking at your site from the browser, it pops up with not just, what normal people do is just throw up like a 10% off coupon code. Leave us your email, we'll give you 10% off. That's prevalent across probably 90% of websites that you see. Customers have seen it a million times. It's not going to stop them in their tracks. It's unlikely that they're going to go ahead and type in their email just for 10%, unless they're already shopping and just want a bit of a discount before they check out on the page. Cool thing that Taft did that we implemented into this Shopify page and brand for us is doing this concept of a freebie drawing offering if they enter their email. So it says here, enter to win a free pair of shoes or boots. So whatever the product is that you want to give away with your brand, you can do a similar pop-up. And it was awesome. I think we got within the first couple of weeks, I think we got like 30 or 40 emails or something like that. So I imagine that we're probably going to get 50 to 100 plus emails just from that traffic that we're not even driving to our Shopify page by using this strategy. The other cool thing is we're able to use Amazon returns for this. So we get a lot of Amazon returns that are literally brand new, even in packaging, but Amazon has flagged them as a return. We get those sent, and we can use this product, which might otherwise be really difficult to resell or reship back into Amazon, and we use it as part of these monthly drawings. So we take advantage of a dead asset, which is returns, and we cultivate a new asset, which is customer information. So you'll see here, I think we had 85 emails at the start of this launch. I think we're about 110 or so now, so we're slowly building that email list. Again, probably embarrassingly small if you look at the world of e-commerce. Like, who cares? It's 85 emails. But it was something, and we put together a very simple launch email. And because this product was launching at $35 and it was soon to be $50, that was the hook that we used with all of our both internal and external advertising for this launch, is saying, hey, for this week only, you can get this product for $35. It's soon to be $50 in a week. Take advantage of the launch special. So we sent an email out that had that. The second is we've got 333 messenger contacts that came through mainly from review inserts. So these are mainly customers that have already transacted with our brand. So we reach out to those using a ManyChat broadcast with Facebook ads. So you can't necessarily contact these customers if they haven't reached out to you naturally within 24 hours. But what you can do is pay, much like an ad, Facebook to broadcast it and send messages to the inboxes on Facebook of these customers. So in this case, we paid a whopping $3.40. So it's super cheap. We reached 169 customers and we had a click-through rate of 11.24%. And I know for a fact, just analyzing the response rates and things that people engage from this messenger broadcast, that we had at least 3 sales from this initiative. So again, not going to change the world, but in the eyes of a launch, 3 sales can really help instigate traffic and give you that initial momentum for indexing and ranking as part of your launch strategy. We also, over time, have started to accumulate text opt-ins through our ManyChat campaigns, mainly through review funnels. So we had 27 text numbers that we had as part of this campaign. So again, wasn't crazy. We had 4 people click on it. Who cares? But we might have gotten a sale from that. So not massive numbers, but between the emails, which wasn't a huge list, between the ManyChat broadcast, which wasn't a huge list, or the text messages, which wasn't a huge list, we fired those all off right on the first day of launch, spiked some impressions on the listing, and definitely got a handful of sales out of it that would help us in those early stages get some momentum. The other thing that we do, and this is a much more powerful kind of setup, is, again, I'm getting around 1,000 customers now, 1,000 to 2,000 customers a month visiting the site, is we set up a Facebook pixel. And so there's currently, as of the start of this launch, there was about 4,800 customers that we had as part of the pixel. We were able to plug that into a Facebook ad and basically retarget those customers as they browse Facebook, notifying them of a launch that we had upcoming. And so it's super simple. If you have a Shopify page, I'm not going to get into how to get a Facebook pixel. There's plenty of content on YouTube that you can search to find this. But we basically just plugged in that Facebook pixel ID right here. And then as customers visited the site, it was able to track their behaviors, and then we were able to retarget them at the point of this launch. So I anticipate this to become a much more powerful asset as we grow the visitors of the brand. And I anticipate by the end of the year and as we hit into 2021, we'll probably have 10, 15,000 plus people that we can target using Facebook retargeting that are actual customers that are interested in our brand and likely have bought or shopped for us on Amazon before. That's existing customers. Now, this is probably the most powerful part of this launch. As I'd mentioned, Facebook ads using ManyChat rebates is really a dying strategy, in my opinion. It's very difficult to get clean quality buyers. You're not really getting review volume anymore. So financially, it is a very difficult strategy to scale, even though it was very, very effective in 2019 and for some portions of 2020. We are now throwing a ton of external traffic using ads to our listing. This isn't super sophisticated stuff. It's not hard to develop. I'm not an expert in any one of these external ad strategies, but we dumped a bunch of money at it just to see what would happen. And I think that it was a critical piece of how this launch went from $0 to $35,000. We use Google ads, we use Reddit ads, and then we use Facebook lookalike audiences, again, taking data from customers that have actually visited our site, and we hit them with ads, driving them to our Amazon launch listing. Google ads, which I think is honestly one of the hidden gems and hidden secrets for Amazon sellers. It was super easy to set up, and I think super powerful and inexpensive to scale these ads. By the way, I'm going to get into my next series on YouTube is going to be an external traffic masterclass, going through a number of different approaches on how to drive external traffic to your listing. So if you're here for the first time, or if you're visiting this video and have yet to subscribe to the Heist community, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You're going to get notified exactly when we drop this series, which is going to start next week. But Google ads was the first. We got 22,000 impressions, 366 clicks. Most of those coming from Google search, but we also tapped into 74 clicks from off Google partner websites. And it was only 37 cents a click, which is dirt cheap in the world of advertising. These are text ads. You don't need to be fancy. You don't need to have graphics. You don't need to have a designer. Very simple to set up, something that you can do in about 15 to 25 minutes. And it costs us $135 through this launch. Don't know all the sales data on this, and we'll get into Amazon attribution as a part of that external series. It's very difficult to track that, but I think this had a powerful impact on how this launch went. The second was Reddit ads. I've done a video on how to use Reddit ads specifically for launches. I'll leave a link up below and above. And we deployed Reddit ads as part of this as well. Spent $334. 61 cents a click, so almost double the cost of the Google ads, but very powerful. We had 541 clicks that came from this 186,000 impressions. So getting the brand out there, getting the ASIN out there, and getting critical visits from external traffic, which Amazon loves as part of the strategy. And then finally, I would say the dud, but again, you want to always be trying stuff. If it doesn't work, assess why it didn't work and figure out whether or not you wanted to do it again. We used some Facebook ads retargeting using the pixel data from our Shopify site. Went into Animoto, which is a really cool software where you can plug in basic images or video and kind of some text stuff. And it does really cool animations, really cool short form ads. Created that in Animoto, and then targeted a bunch of interest, including this retargeted audience here. So you can see that we spent $346. It was a large and expensive $6.19 per click. I would have called this not an effective use of our money, not the economics I would have wanted to see from an external ad strategy, but we tried it and we'll learn from it. We'll see if we can do it better next time, or we'll cut it from the launch playbook and find another alternative. But we did throw some Facebook ads at this. So in total, we had 936 link clicks from external traffic. Total cost was $720, and the average was 75 cents per click. What's powerful here is if you remember back to that first slide on the total number of sessions, I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. I think it was something around 4,000 or 5,000 in that area. We sent 962 external clicks to our ASIN from external traffic. Amazon's going to love this because it's customers that were not on the Amazon platform. They were not shopping on Amazon at the time. We delivered them to Amazon and we delivered them to our listing. This kind of behavior and tracking, which Amazon absolutely tracks, is a very, very powerful signal to Amazon that this is an ASIN that we should reward, because not only are they transacting with customers that are searching for this product, they're bringing us customers, or they're disrupting them from other things that they're doing on the internet, and they're bringing them to Amazon to shop. Let's give them some credit for that. They're helping make us more money. So that was a critical approach. I also, again, linking again to that video up above and down below for the data that Amazon keeps on you. I did a deep dive on this with my own personal account. They track where customers come from. So if they're coming from an external traffic source, they track it. Equally important, if they're coming from an external ad, they also track that. So this is an example from my own account where I came from to an ASIN from Google and I came from an ad. I guarantee you Amazon's doing something with this data, and I would be willing to bet big money that what they're doing with that data is they're giving credit to ASINs and searches that originate from external traffic and that originate from external ads. So the strategy here through those 3 or 4 channel approaches using external ads, I think had a massive impact on this launch. And it was inexpensive too. It didn't cost us a whole bunch of money. The final strategy was Amazon pay-per-click, and you guys know I have a very specific and detailed approach for how I use Amazon pay-per-click at launch. Don't use auto campaigns. Don't do a ton of campaigns. Do really, really targeted, highly relevant search terms. Put them in no more than 4 or 5 keywords a bucket and put them into isolated campaigns in manual exact. And I target those specifically at launch and put a decent budget towards them. So we're looking at high relevance terms that came through the deep dive keyword analysis, which is a big part of our secret sauce. We split campaigns by volume. So we put the keywords with a lot of searches together. We put those with smaller search volume together so that they're isolated into their volumetric kind of buckets. And then we did 5 to 10 keywords per campaign. The second approach that we used was using competitive targeting. So we took the top 10 most relevant competitive ASINs that we both wanted to take on in the marketplace, that we think that we can beat, but that we think are indications of Amazon of what our product is for relevancy. And we targeted that as well. And this is what it looked like. So this is literally the exact campaigns. There's 6 of them total that we did. You can see exactly how much money was spent, how much orders we got from each, the sales, the ROAS. This is straight from the account. I'm not hiding anything other than the portfolio name, which reveals exactly what the product is. So, and I use some notations here to show that they're high relevance and what the volume is of those keywords, so I can come back later and see which buckets of pay-per-click campaigns were successful. So that is the strategy. Let's get into the economics. As I'd mentioned in previous launch videos, I really like to know launch case, what the economics are, what the worst case is coming out of launch, that I think could be kind of worst case scenario, and what I think the targeted case financials are. Really important to understand the economics of each of those situations. So the product at launch, we launched for $34.99. Landed COGS across all scenarios is $11.46. FBA fulfillment for them to ship it is $10.06, so it's a little bit of a larger product in this case. And then the referral fee is just a percentage of whatever your price is. And then it's got the gross profit as well as a gross profit percentage down there below. Somebody in one of my other launch videos on other heisters, this is why it's critical to have the community. It's critical to subscribe. It's critical to comment and engage. Kind of made a comment about, hey, what about ROI? How are you thinking about that? Super, super important to understand the economics of your product, both short and long term. While 23.5% isn't the end of the world, you're still making money. It's still, I guess, a decent gross profit. If I were to keep going at this launch price, I'd be making a gross profit of $8.22. But because I have to buy the product for $11.46 landed to ship it here and get everything covered, I'm going to need additional money that even the profit from my sales is not going to cover. So you need to either have deep products or access to debt and cash and capital to fund a product that doesn't have really clean ROI or really high margins. But if you go over here to the launch case, where I want to be is $44.99. And in that scenario, given all the economics and fees that I would incur, I'm going to be making a gross profit of $20.97 before pay-per-click and all the ancillary costs that go into managing a product. So what that basically means is that I've got $9.51 of spending money on advertising, on returns that are going to inevitably happen, on OpEx to support the ASIN, to have very clean economics to go back and buy product again. So I can take the profits that I make, I can eat into that using some of those strategies and costs, and still afford to go buy the product without having to tap into additional debt and money. So this is critical to have these economics be clean when you're scaling a brand. And sorry for the low battery warning that just came up. We'll wrap this up before my battery dies on my laptop. So in summation, existing customers cost $388. Some from rebates and a small portion from using the messenger broadcast. Every other part of that strategy was free, which is cool. The external ads, we spent $720 total. I think Google was cool. The cost per click was inexpensive. We got a whack load of clicks from Reddit for $334. And despite spending $251 on Facebook, I would call that a dud. I'd put an X on that one. I don't think it was an effective use of spend, but we'll recalibrate, we'll learn from it, we'll take those learnings and take it to our next launch and tweak some things and see if we can't get it to work. And then on pay-per-click, we spent a total of $6,300 for sales of almost $23,000. So I'll take that every day of the week. We're actually, when we started to creep the price in, which we'll look at how we creep the price up, we're actually profitable with this campaign by the end of it. So a 28% ACoS that you see here for 569 orders total is fantastic. I would take that with every single launch. In fact, a lot of launches, you'll see the ACoS will be 40, 50% and above, which is still an investment worth doing if you can get everything else right with the launch. But in this case, we were able to be in the money with our pay-per-click spend. So I'm super happy with how the ACoS shook out for the pay-per-click campaigns. All right, so the results, what did this all mean? So again, we had 846 orders total when this was all said and done. The majority of those, or 569, came from pay-per-click. We had 277 from organic. And drum roll, even though I already showed it at the start of the video, so it's not much of a surprise, we had $35,000 and $111 in total revenue from this. Looking at the ranking, this is just kind of a blow by blow on the first 7 days. This top thing here shows where we were ranking from a keyword standpoint. So even coming out of the gate after day one, we had one keyword that was in the top 10 and 10,000 in the top 50. So pretty cool signal. By day 7, we had 17 keywords in the top 10 for 34,000 monthly searches. And we had 64 keywords already, even after 7 days, with 0 reviews at this point, with 72,000. Each one of these just shows the daily profit metrics. We'll get into the full profit metrics for the month here in a second. This data came from Sellerize, which is my new favorite app. I've got a link down below if you want to check it out for 1 month free. But that's the first 7 days. And then this is where we landed as of the last day. So the last day we were ranked top 10 for 66 keywords, 69,000 monthly total searches, and 182 words, or 234,000 total in the top 50. And we'll slowly over time start to gravitate these words that are in the 182 top 50 bucket into that top 10, which will snowball sales and further deploy the success of this ASIN. Looking at the daily analysis, I like to keep a really slick spreadsheet so I'm tracking things day by day so I can course adjust. I'm looking at unit sales revenue, what my ad spend was on Amazon, what my net profit per day was, all the external ad sources we track that daily, and then I'm looking at the cumulative net loss or earnings. This is really important to figure out, hey, when am I breaking even on this product, and can I do it within the first month? Keeping a tab on your numbers will help you budget, will help you tweak some of your different approaches, and see best ways to deploy your capital. Couple highlights here. Kind of running down, I kind of highlighted a couple elements here. I started to price up here on day 11. I'm starting to see really good traction. You see here, I literally came out the gate. Day 3, we were doing 33 sales, $1,100 in revenue. So we were really smoking this thing right from the get-go. So we started to creep the price up even without reviews around day 10, 11, just to see what would happen with the marketplace. We then stocked out, so we had some logistical challenges getting inventory to get checked in and show up to Amazon due to some delays. Due to that price back, it basically had a future ship date. We weren't getting as many sales on it, so we drew the price back. Once we got back in stock, we basically filtered that price back up a couple days later. Started to reduce ad spend because we were seeing really good results around day 15, so we started to drop that expense back. And then it wasn't until day 16 that we had reviews. So we were 0 reviews literally up to day 16. And you'll also see here, I should have mentioned that we shut off ads on this around day 10. So some of these ads we basically started shutting off at different moments in time. Day 18, we had somebody that loved the product and left a raving review, leave a 4-star review. So that took our star rating down to 4.5, which hurt us for a couple days here. So you can kind of see the impact on sales. So conversion rate's real. The impact of reviews is real. We then started to get back to 5 stars after getting 7 reviews a day later. So we were able to kind of course correct. But you can see all the data here. Basically, day by day, we were humming roughly around $1,000 per day in sales revenue, and we slowly were able to ramp up the price. I'm happy to say, if you remember, the target was $49. We're at, I think, $48 today. So we're $1 off of our target, and we have the next check-in of inventory coming. So all things are dialed. This is exactly how I'd want a launch to look. We tracked all the financials every single day, step by step, and we were able to stay here that it was day 22 that we started to make money. So day 22, we had already passed the break-even mark for this. We were starting to return money from this ASIN, and you can see we ended up with a net benefit after 30 days, despite all the ad spend, despite all the external stuff, despite all the experiments. We ended up with a net earnings of a little over $2,000 for this product. So super happy with it. So again, they don't all go this way. I'm sure we'll have a couple dud launches that I'll be able to case study in this. I'll definitely share the bad news as it comes. But for this brand so far, we're basically 4 for 4. We've had 4 awesome launches, and this one was no exception. I'm super happy with it. But what did I learn? I think it's really important to take an inventory of what worked, what didn't. What would you do the same? What would you change? What are some mental cues that you can take into running and leading your business that will benefit you moving forward? Taking the wisdom, taking the experience as part of the game, snowball that to make you better, to make your brands better, to make your launches better. So for this, couple lessons learned. One, adversity will happen. Again, this product was classified as a toy. Screw you, Amazon. It put us on the sidelines for 6 weeks. It really sucked. We had some logistical stuff where we stocked out for a brief part of this launch. We had somebody that, despite loving the product, gave us a 4-star review, which bumped us down to 4.5 stars. Really hurt our conversion rate for a couple days. The Facebook ads didn't go that great. Spent money that we maybe shouldn't have on those ads. Like, things went wrong. They're always going to go wrong. You're always going to have crap happen to you. A lot of times it's not your fault, and a lot of times it's out of your control. There's not much you can do about it, but what you shouldn't do is ever be a victim. This is your brand. This is your life. This is your business. Don't let anybody, Amazon or otherwise, take your dream away from you. You got to bite down on the mouth guard sometimes. You got to suck it up. You got to not be a victim. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Think about and put your energy towards the things that you can control. So again, I get these reminders every day when I'm running an Amazon business, or just about every day. Certainly did on this launch, to understand adversity is going to happen. Lesson learned for me there. The other lesson is you can compete in a larger pond. As I alluded to at the start of this is a $300,000 a month broader market, but you can participate in those markets. However, you've got to know where you can participate and win, and you've got to target the right fish within that pond. So niche down, figure out and isolate the customer archetype and keywords that you can take a slice of that market, but you don't need to win the larger market in all cases. Third, and I think this is super powerful, and we're going to cover this a lot on the channel moving forward, is external traffic is highly, highly likely to spike rank. I feel this because of the data I see that Amazon tracks, as well as the results that I'm seeing when I dump external traffic to my listing. So your competitors are also too lazy to do this. This is not rocket science stuff. It's not hard. You might need to invest 30 minutes to understand and learn how to do it, and then maybe another 30 minutes to execute the campaign. But that's time that your competitors are too lazy to invest in their business. Amazon sellers, for the most part, are really lazy. They want Amazon to do all the work. They just want to throw stuff up and let success happen. You go through these small steps like adding external traffic to your strategy and your knowledge and skill set, and you can really powerfully outlaunch, outrank, and outperform your competitors. The second last point is subtle offer differentiation can win you big. Again, there wasn't anything crazy special about this product. We had a subtle adder, and we really took the photography really seriously and the listing image really seriously, and did a real deep dive on keywords. So it doesn't take much sometimes, but those subtle differentiators create a why for your customers. Why would I buy this? So if you can inject those subtle little tweaks, it can have a powerful impact, and you don't always need to reinvent the wheel to be successful. And then finally, break even or slightly profitable is okay at launch. Sometimes people want to come out, and if I'm not making money right off the bat, it's not success. You need to invest money in marketing. You need to take a hit on margin. You need to dump money into a listing for it to hit the Amazon flywheel, get organic traffic, get reviews, get all those elements that make an Amazon listing successful. And then you need to put that money forward and make it happen. And then finally, break even or slightly break even is okay. You're going to have to invest money. You're going to have a lower price or a lower margin initially. You do need to pump money into a listing in order for get momentum, to index, to rank, to get reviews, to get all of those things that will snowball into organic ranking and sales long term. That's okay. You need to know that coming in, that it takes money, sorry to be cheesy, to make money. but that's very important. But what you do need to know is calculating it ahead of time, and how much money and budget do you have? What can you sustain? What are your target prices and margins? Pay attention every single day during launch to see that you can course correct, and make sure that you're deploying that investment effectively so you get that money back and you break even or become profitable as soon as possible. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Another one for the books. If you're here for the first time and got value out of it, we do this each and every single week. All I try to do is drop value bombs, reveal things that other Amazon sellers and other Amazon YouTubers simply don't reveal. So check in again next week. We're going to dive into external traffic. Would love to have you here along for the ride. If you got any value out of this, hit that like button for me. Helps the algorithm for YouTube. Give us some more juice. If you've got any questions, you've got comments, you want to ask me anything, hit me up in the comments below. We will see you next week with the external traffic video. And if you stick around later this week, I'm going to send a little thank you video for the 1,000 subscribers. Cheers, guys. Love having you here. Appreciate you. Until next time.